My name's Wayne. Some of you may have seen me before. I hope so. I've been kicking around Hollywood a long time. I've made a lot of pictures out here, all kinds. And some of them have been westerns. And that's what I'm here to tell you about tonight, a western. A new television show called Gunsmoke.
I try to remember that if they'd argued a little, they might not be here. Arguing doesn't fill any graves. Take me, I'm a U.S. Marshal. How many times I'd rather have argued than gone for guns.
We interrupt this program for a bulletin from CBS and WWTV Channel 13. WWTV is celebrating its 50th anniversary. 50 years of bringing Northern Michigan the best in news, sports, weather, and programming.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that. We don't know if it was a commercial aircraft.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Boy. 60 Minutes. It's a kind of a magazine for television.
Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
I love Lucy, my Lucy loves me.
Good evening, everybody. Here's the news picture tonight.
Bob Barker.
Baby, good and great. Great to see so many people ready for the latest Big Mac attack.
From the edge of the Great Lakes.
We're going across this thing.
Michigan's Northland. You can feel it in the spirit of people who care. There's so much more to show of our great land. It's all here to see and to share. 9 and 10, pride and commitment. 9 and 10, news with involvement. 9 and 10, here in Michigan it's 9 and 10.
Here in Michigan, it is 9 and 10. Hello again, everyone. I'm Scott Michael Traeger. That song was used for part of one of our 5 decades on the air here in northern Michigan. Broadcasting from this tower in northern Osceola County, one of the largest man-made structures east of the Mississippi, our signal reaches from just north of Grand Rapids all the way to central Ontario. It was an idea hatched in the early 1950s by the Spartan Broadcasting Company out of Jackson. It was largely unprecedented at the time to bring a television signal to a largely rural but quickly growing area. In December of 1953, as northern Michigan began settling in for a particularly cold winter, a new reason to stay inside by the fire was nearing completion atop the highest point in the lower peninsula.
Yeah, I think we got our television set when we knew TV 910 was going on the air. And that was, I would say, Hatfield at that time probably did not have television sets yet. I was back in the 7th grade, and friends and I would rush home to watch the test pattern before it came on, because usually it never came on the air until like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. So get out of school about 3 o'clock, and there it is, the test pattern. I sat there and just kind of look at it.
13-year-old Doug Brown need wait only a few more days for more than a test pattern. On Friday, January 1st, WWTV, Channel 13 in that day, signed on with the 1954 Rose Bowl. Billy Wells scored 2 touchdowns in Michigan State's 28-20 victory over UCLA. It was Michigan State's first ever Rose Bowl win, and in northern Michigan, the first time that many people had ever seen television for themselves. It was primitive by today's standards, but it was TV. WWTV's first days were a mix of CBS, the Dumont Network, and ABC. Locally, WWTV's reputation as the news leader started right away with the news operation.
We built the news department here by being very cautious and very careful to be sure that all of our communities were named. Not every night, but constantly. We used to have a rule that if you didn't name 4 or 5 cities and 10 people, you didn't go on the air. I mean, that was the way we built a market out of this wild part of the world where there was small markets, small cities.
Stand by. News, weather, and sports are broadcast live on 9 and 10 to this day. The big difference between now and then was then all of the commercials were also broadcast live.
One of the interesting, I think, things about that early period was that everything was live. There were no aids for us at all, no videotape. We didn't even have audio tape, as I recall, to begin with. But what would happen is you'd have the newsmen were exempt, and the man reading the news, only one. The man reading the news was exempt. But while he was reading the news, the sports announcer would do the commercials. When we went to sports, the weatherman would do the commercials. When we went to weather, the sportsman would do commercials again. So you changed costumes and changed hats, and it was very exciting, very exciting.
There was no zoom on it, so you had to actually move the camera. And I remember the director, he would scream pretty loud in the headphones if you let that camera wobble at all when you were doing the in and out shots.
But live, I can't stress how stressful live broadcasting was.
WWTV's entrance into the daily lives of Northern Michigan residents coincided with the biggest engineering project the area has ever undertaken. Our newscasts in those days were dominated by the building of the Mackinac Bridge. Ron Bailey was hired into WWTV just 2 weeks after the station went on the air in 1954. He stayed as a photographer until 1959, and one of his main assignments was filming the making of the Mighty Mac.
That was just one of the greatest experiences of my life. I got to go to the bridge once a month for the entire building of the bridge, well over 3 years.
And of course, it gave us, as a state, pride, because it was a fantastic engineering achievement. And of course, Channel 9 covered it every step of the way, and that was an exciting story to be reporting on.
While the bridge was completed, 9 and 10 News continued to grow until one tragic night in 1961. And it all happened because of one of these. We'll tell you what it was when 9 and 10's 50th anniversary celebration continues.
When I had my second stroke, I had no response in my right arm and no response in my right leg.
It's so important to recognize the signs and symptoms of stroke in order to seek immediate medical attention.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about the fact they saved my life. I don't think I could have been treated at a Class A hotel any better than I was treated at Northern Michigan Hospital.
When they call us a top 100 hospital, we are.
Northern Michigan Hospital. Intensive caring.
On the next Everybody Loves Raymond.
Your TV's out, too.
What did families do together without TV?
Why don't we just sit and talk?
Why? What's wrong?
Let's play a game.
I don't like games.
Oh, you know what? We could just sit and talk.
Let's play a game.
Let the games begin.
Each red card has a moral question on it. For example,
Family wants to play a game. You set yourself on fire to get out of it.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Tonight on 9 and 10 News at 11, Alan Rios gives you Doppler 9 and 10 upfront weather.
Some of those showers may actually mix with some snowflakes.
At the beginning of the newscast, you'll know right away what to expect for tomorrow. Plus, Doug Petcash and Kim Lehman have the latest details on the stories you've been following.
Special election was held today in Chippewa County.
And they'll show you breaking news as it happens and tell you how it will affect Northern Michigan.
Hundreds of people took steps tonight to end violence.
9 and 10 News at 11, Northern Michigan's news leader.
Welcome back to 9 and 10's 50th anniversary special. This is just a doorway, but to those of us at 9 and 10, it holds special significance. It was the only thing left standing after a devastating fire in January of 1961.
It was cold, below zero, snowing, ton of snow all over everything. 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call home, bring coffee, we're burning down.
Very, very cold. And so cold that the firefighters couldn't even get water out of the hoses.
A venting problem in the heating system led to a fire that nobody thought was possible.
All this time, the building is just collapsing, wall after wall after wall. Incidentally, don't ever think cement block can't burn. I don't know what kind of blocks that was built out of because I wasn't here when it was built, but I'll tell you, they burned and they fell down, and it was a disaster.
For a cement block building, we couldn't hardly believe the way that building was destroyed. There was just nothing left.
WWTV was decimated, but what happened next was perhaps the most extraordinary thing ever to happen in Michigan broadcasting. From the only room left standing sprung a new WWTV.
2 weeks, well, we got a hold of RCA, and of course RCA didn't have things made up for us. They took some equipment that had been purchased by other people that hadn't been shipped yet. They loaded up an entire van, transmitter, film chains, and all kinds of things that we needed to get on the air, racks. And we went on with plastic covering the equipment, and we had part of a building out here that we were going to use to put in an FM station. No windows in it, that had to be covered up with plastic, and that's how we got on. We made it in 2 weeks.
The next year, 1962, was also momentous. In June, WWUP TV Channel 10 signed on the air, bringing programs to the Upper Peninsula for the first time ever, and creating an instant expansion of WWTV's coverage area, staffing requirements, and news coverage. Also in 1962, WWTV got the authority to switch from Channel 13 to a new and more powerful Channel 9. And the next major step, color, in 1966.
It was poor quality by today's standards. You can see some of those old color clips there. You realize how far we've come. But it was a big jump up from black and white.
The addition of color was more than just a flip of a switch.
CBS was the last of the 3 networks to go to color. And so that was another factor we had to work into this situation, needed lights.
But apparently, the staff of 9 and 10 made the conversion so well that it caused some concern in the front office.
The old man called me in and he said, we're too sharp. We look better than the network when it comes on at 6 o'clock or 6:30. I said, yeah, right. And we were so proud of that. And he wanted us to tone it down a little, so we didn't make the network look shabby. So, okay, we toned it down a little.
Since then, the evolution of 9 and 10 has been basically dedicated to the improvement of our news gathering capabilities.
Getting the story, getting it right.
From film to videotape, to satellite news gathering, to digital technology. From a single daily 15-minute local newscast to more than 5 hours of local news a day, all while keeping a firm hold on our title as Northern Michigan's news leader. A lot of people have walked down this hall and through that door to our main studio. We'll remember some of them next as 9 and 10's 50th anniversary continues.
This holiday season, give the gift of Culver's the easy way.
I found a lump in this gland one day. I was treated at Northern Michigan Hospital in Petoskey through the Karmanos Institute. Northern Michigan Hospital is able to get a second opinion, consultation, and a proposed treatment plan for the patients. I never knew what people meant when they said they were survivors, but now I do know. Northern Michigan Hospital I would recommend to anybody, always.
Northern Michigan Hospital. Intensive caring.
Are your friends and family missing that holiday cheer? A fresh bouquet from ProFlowers is sure to brighten their season. Hand-picked and shipped directly from the grower, overnight via FedEx. They'll love this bouquet of candy cane roses, starting at $29.99. It includes this elegant glass vase, free.
Call 800-416-4340 or go to oneproflowers.com. Don't delay, order now.
7 days a week, morning, noon, and night, 9 and 10 News is Northern Michigan's choice for news. We're dedicated to covering more news than any other station in the area. Our news team spends more time on the scene than on the set. We reach out to our neighbors to help solve problems. When news breaks, we're the first to tell you all the details. We cover Northern Michigan like no one else. Experience the difference of 9 and 10 News, Northern Michigan's news leader.
The cake's for the party, Bob!
Bring home a Culver's frozen custard cake for your holiday gathering.